Hello, I'm Rebecca Pigram, Public Information Officer for Rockingham County. Today we are joined by Chris Elliott. He is our Safety and Risk Manager. Chris, thank you so much for joining us today.
It's a pleasure.
Yes.
It's good to be here.
Let's just dive in. Who is Chris Elliott and what do you do here at Rockingham County Government?
I don't think we have enough time for all that, but
That is
no.
fair.
I oversee the safety compliance aspect. I'm the Safety and Risk Manager here at Rockingham County Government. So we do a litany of things. The number one thing is to make sure that we're compliant, our employees are safe, and we're indemnified, which means we're covered by insurance.
Perfect. So what kind of qualifications do you have? What does it take to be the Safety and Risk Manager, not just here, but anywhere?
Well, it used to take hair, and I lost on I've been in this line of work for the last 23 years, and all of that's been with the public sector side of things. So I now represent Rockingham County on the Board of Directors for the NC PREMA, which is the North Carolina Public Risk Management Association. I have my OSHA authorizations for general industry and construction. I can teach in all 50 states when it comes to OSHA compliance and their training mechanisms they like to push out. So it's just it's a lifelong process of me going to NC State, North Carolina A&T, and getting my certifications for continuous improvement, facility engineering, you name it. It all kind of comes together and makes me who I am today.
Perfect. Well, we are very thankful for you, not only for keeping our employees safe, but our visitors here too at the Governmental Center and all of our facilities. Let's talk about keeping everybody safe. So what's kind of the general, I know you said you cover a lot of things, so let's talk about your day-to-day role in keeping folks safe here. So
the day-to-day role, I oversee all of our injuries, all of our accidents, anything that happens in our facility. And I'm one of the few departments that touches everybody. Yeah. So every department has some kind of liaison relationship with risk management. Number one, we purchase insurance. We make sure that everybody's covered, professional bonding, but the number one thing is we want to make sure that our citizens are safe when they come on our facilities. So we make sure that everything's working properly, and if we have anything that comes into your office or anybody else's and there's a complaint, it normally hits my desk.
So we talked about keeping visitors safe. Mm-hmm. Let's talk a little bit about how you keep our employees safe as far as, and like you said, you touch on every department.
Yes.
So I'm assuming EMS, fire marshal,
That's
health
right.
department. Let's touch a little bit on how you keep our employees safe.
So when we have catastrophes, if we have something that comes up, and we just had a hurricane, let's say that we have a hurricane, hits here locally, I'm the safety officer on that emergency plan. So I work really closely with emergency management, work closely with our EMS personnel, our safety personnel, Sheriff's Department. But we make sure that, in those departments we have certifications up, we have firearms training, we have, the bloodborne pathogens, the personal protective equipment stuff that we're looking at. And then we want to make sure that they've got the right equipment to keep them safe. So I work in line with them to help them out, with budgetary, constraints and things that they might need in the future. And, we just recently helped EMS out with PAFRs. And what PAFRs are, it's almost like a scuba type gear that EMS personnel can put on and wear, to where if they're around somebody else that might have been sick with COVID or whatever like that, 100% keeps them in the safe, while they can render care with somebody who is extremely sick without having to be worried that they're going to have a contagion get to them. So that's what my job's all about.
And that's so important, not just, if it's COVID or if it's the flu, any of those highly contagious sicknesses, that not only keeps our residents safe, but also if one of those EMS or paramedics
right.
goes to their next call, that keeps our residents safe, but that also keeps our employees safe here in Rockingham County. I know we've touched on a little bit of OSHA guidelines and OSHA programs and that kind of thing. I think that's like the big OSHA,
Oh, yeah.
guidelines.
Yeah.
That's kind of what I'm assuming you kind of run everything off of. Let's talk a little bit about your experience with OSHA, how you use OSHA, and that kind of thing.
So everybody perceives OSHA as like, oh no, but OSHA was a good thing. The OSHA Act was created to keep employees safe and to make sure that employers are doing everything that we can to do that. If you look around the status of our state right now, the mold name has been thrown out, and there's been schools that's been shut down because of that. Well, that's a very serious thing.
Absolutely.
So we want to make sure that the environmental aspects here at the county and the compliance aspects and everything that is required for 1910 and 1926. 1910 is general industry, 1926 is construction. So anything that we operate in within the realms of those two acts, which are law, we want to be compliant with. So I have a really good relationship with OSHA. I have a really good relationship with bureau chiefs that are local. I keep in touch with the folks in Raleigh, and we have documents and things that I have to do every year to document how many injuries we've had, our OSHA logs, everything like that. I keep up with that documentation for every department. So when we're looking at a relationship, we've got a very close relationship with OSHA. So it makes it easier for me.
That's wonderful. Let's talk a little bit about your implementation of OSHA programs and training, and how you take the information that OSHA gives you and how you translate that to our employees.
Absolutely. So recently we have just introduced to the employees our online training portal. The online training portal is something that every director can get to, and our employees can have a training mechanism right there in their own office right in front of them. They can get it on their phone. They can be out in the areas where they're working off campus, and they can utilize that training also. I also do on-site training. So if we have remedial training, maybe somebody did something they shouldn't have done, and now we have to go in, we have to retrain, we have to do remedial training like that. I do that on a constant basis. But just making sure that we're doing the bare minimum that OSHA requires us to do to keep compliant, but then we go above and beyond that, because we don't just want to do the base. We want to be the best that we can be for the citizens of Rockingham County. And so far, we've done a really good job.
That's wonderful. Is there anything else that you maybe want to touch on?
So, when people think of risk management and safety, the focus goes to OSHA. A lot of the focus goes to safety. But the majority of my job is dealing with the documentation, if we have injuries, workers' compensation, and if we're having anything with risk management, making sure that, what can I do to prevent situations at the county that will cost the county extreme amounts of money? What can I do to limit those risks? That's a daily job, right? So when we think about us at home and at work and at play, there's risk in everything we do. There was risk coming into work today.
Yep.
There's risks,
And going home today.
Come on. So, anything and everything we do has a risk, especially
Absolutely.
If you want to eat my cooking, there's a risk with that, right? So, what I try to do is to use a basic approach. We want to identify risks, right? We want to correct those potential hazards, and then we want to monitor. And that's the majority of my day-to-day basis, is trying to figure out what could be the next big thing that could cost the citizens of Rockingham County a lot of money. Because when we face things like that, we're all taxpayers here. So we're trying to do the best thing that we can to render our services. When you think about Rockingham County as a whole, we're not providing widgets. It's not like we make widgets and we're sending those out on an assembly line. We have services.
Yep.
And we provide some of the best services in the state of North Carolina. We've got law enforcement, we've got EMS, we've got our fire agencies, we've got DSS, we take care of families in need, children in need. We've got our public health department and dentistry offices where we're reaching out to the community. And if I can keep these individuals safe at work, on time, and doing things correctly, we all benefit from that. So that is my daily
Yeah. So it sounds like there's a lot of proactive.
Absolutely.
And I feel like that is such a big, almost like a key word that I want to just harp on for a second, because in a world where I think a lot of things can be reactive, oh, something happens, let's clean it up, or let's take care of it.
Sure.
It sounds like you very much are proactive in how can we as a agency, we as a community can avoid situations so that we don't have to be reactive, that we can always be proactive in keeping everybody safe.
I would like to say that I've done that my entire career, but in my 23rd year of public sector, life, I've learned that being proactive instead of reactive is a whole lot easier.
Yeah.
In the first half of my career, it was a lot of fighting fires, trying to learn the position.
Yeah.
But being able to lean on other counties and the 100 counties that we have here, the other risk managers, not reinventing the wheel, but sharing ideas and coming together. There's a good saying that says a rising tide lifts all the boats. There's a lot of truth to that.
Yeah.
And there's another saying, an ounce of prevention is worth a pound of cure. Well, there's a lot of truth in that. So I try to lean on all the folks around. Me and Rebecca share the little office space, so she's right next to me.
We share a wall.
So yeah. So when I knock on the wall, she knows I need some help, so she'll come over. So
and I know that you do the same thing.
That's right.
So if I'm like, Chris, help, you're
that's
like,
right.
I'm coming.
Risk management on the way.
Yes.
Yeah.
So, and that's just a wonderful thing, because it's teamwork, both within our agency, making sure that everybody is safe. But it's good to hear that the collaboration and partnerships, not only with OSHA, but also the other 99
Absolutely.
counties in North Carolina to keep everybody safe. Chris, I am always appreciative of the time that you give. You have such a powerful voice and always a great message. And so I hope you guys at home just got an ounce of the wonderful messages that Chris can provide for us here in Rockingham County. Before I wrap things up, is there anything else that you'd like to tell the folks at home?
Absolutely. Kind of going around, we always say safety first. And I tell our folks around here, I can't stand it. What? You're the safety guy. You don't like safety first? I think we use it too much, and it goes in one ear and out the other. And I tell my folks every day when we're teaching, when I'm going through new employee orientation with our new folks that we're bringing in, I do this little test, and I'm going to do it with you at home. Be safe. Now, how does that make you feel when I say be safe? Now I'm going to say something else. Be professional. Now, wait a minute. That made you feel something, right? Now you're trying to say, what are you saying, Chris? I'm not professional? Well, here's the problem. If we're going to be professional, we don't put safety on the back burner. We don't cut corners, and we do things right. And here at Rockingham County, we take pride in being professional, being courteous, and we love what we do.
Absolutely.
So I will leave you with that. Be professional and love what you do every day, and you'll never work a day in your life.
Perfect. Thank you so much, Chris.
Thank you.
Like I said, you always have a great message. If you at home have any questions about what we do here in Rockingham County, what Chris does with safety and risk management, feel free to give me a call, 336-589-0967. Again, I'm Rebecca Pigram, Public Information Officer for Rockingham County.